Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. So in this video we'll discuss the first problem of Leetcode Weekly Contest 340. It's an easy level problem, but I don't know why the accuracy is on the lower side. So let's see what the problem is asking us to do. So the problem name is print in diagonal. So you are given a zero index 2D two-dimensional integer array, okay, and return the largest prime number that lies on at least one of the diagonals, okay, of the given 2D array. In case no prime number is present on any of the diagonals, return 0. Now what is a prime number? So an integer is prime if it is greater than 1 and has no positive integer divisors other than 1 and itself. Okay. An integer val is on one of the diagonals of nums if there exists an integer I for which nums of I and I equals to val, or nums of I for which nums of I nums dot length minus I blah blah blah. So basically it says if this is a matrix, okay, n cross n matrix. So what are the diagonals? Okay, so the indices for a particular diagonal is this, right? So if you talk about this diagonal, then what happens? The row and column indices are equal. Okay, this is 0 0, this is 1 1, this is 2 2. So this is what this particular statement is saying. And what about this one? So what is the second diagonal? This is the second diagonal. Okay, and what is the relation between indices of this diagonal? So it is, if this is I, then what is j? J equals to n, that is the dimension, minus I minus 1. Now how that is true? So this is actually 0 2, right? This is 0 2. So j should be, n is here 3, the number of rows or columns you have is 3, minus I, that is 0, minus 1, so that is 2. So the relation between I and j is, if I is I, then j is n minus I minus 1. So this is the relation between indices. So for the first one, I and j are equal. The second one, if I is I, then j is n minus I minus 1. Okay, so on these two diagonals, you return whatever are the prime numbers, you return the maximum prime number. Okay, that's what the problem is asking us to do. So in the above diagram, one diagonal is 159, the other one is 357. Okay, so what is the largest, what do you call it, what is the largest prime number in this case? So 5 is prime, 9 is not prime, 3 is prime, 5 is prime, 7 prime. So you return 7 in this case. Okay, this is what the problem is asking us to do. Let's take more examples. So it's 1 2 3 5 6 7 9 10 11. So if I draw this matrix, so it looks something like this. Okay, so 1 2 3 5 6 7 9 10 11. So this is the first diagonal. Okay, so obviously this is the largest prime number till now. You take the second diagonal, only this number is prime. So obviously the maximum among 3 and 7 is, sorry, 3 and 11 is 11, so you return 11. Similarly, you return 17 for this case, right? Now let's see the constraints. So the dimension can be 300 cross 300. Okay, also, now some of you must be wondering how the number of rows and columns are equal. Just see this statement: nums dot length equals to nums of I dot length. Okay, that means the number of rows equals to the number of columns for every row. Okay, so that's how it's n cross n matrix, and a particular value. Okay, what is the maximum value that I can have in my matrix? It's 4 into 10 raised to the power 6. Okay, this is it. So obviously I think people are applying brute force to calculate the prime, but generally a big O of square root of n will pass here. Okay, let me show you the solution. So this is my main function, this is the dimension. Okay, I initialize my answer with 0 because if there is no prime number, I have to return 0. Okay, now what I am doing, this is for the main diagonal, that means this is for this diagonal. Okay, if I check for the I comma ith number, if this is prime, then I update my answer. Similarly, I check for this diagonal here. So I n minus I minus 1. So if that is prime, I update my answer. Okay, and I finally return my answer. Now comes the question, what is this function is prime doing? So let's come to this function. So just see, is prime is taking a number. This count is basically how many factors are there for my number. Okay, so obviously the number of factors that you have for a prime number is 2 if you consider 1 and the number itself. Okay, simple. What I have done, I'm running a loop from I equals to 1 to square root of n. Okay, now I'm checking. So obviously the pairs, the factors come in pair, right? Like for example, if there is a number n, okay, and if I divides n, then n by I also divides n. These comes in pair. So that is the trick I've used here. So if n mod I equals to 0, that means I get two factors. Okay, so count plus equals to 2. Now there is a tricky case. What is that tricky case? Tricky case is, suppose the number on which I am applying this algorithm is a perfect square. For example, if it's 25. Okay, so when you come to 5, what happens? 5 is the first factor and 25 by 5 is the second factor. So this actually is the same value, 5 and 5. So this count plus 2 will give you wrong answer. So I just check if I into I equals n. Like in this case, if 5 into 5 equals 25, that means it is just the same number, but I'm counting it twice. So I do count minus minus. So I keep on doing this till math dot square root of n, and finally I return if count equals 2. That means if the given number has just two factors, 1 and the number itself, so I return true, else I return false. So that this is what this number is doing, and I get it why we have so low accuracy. The reason being this checking for the prime numbers. Okay, if you apply a brute force, that you run the loop from I equals to 1 to I equals to, and obviously that will give you TLE. Why that will give you TLE? Because suppose each number is 4 into 10 raised to power 6 and you are doing it for 300 numbers. So just see what will be the limit. Okay, 12 into 10 raised to the power 8. This is not gonna pass, right? However, in this case, you are doing math dot square root of n. So 4 into 10 raised to power 6 will roughly give you 2 into 10 raised to power 3. And you have how many elements in worst case? This. Okay, so that will give you 6 into 10 raised to power 5, which will very easily pass in 1 second. Okay, so that's why you will not get TLE. Okay, I hope you learned something new from this video. Okay, so yeah, do support it by giving up a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel as well. In case of any queries, mention that in the comment section. I'll revert on each one of them. Thank you, take care, bye bye.